I'm not gonna lie, man. A couple of those pictures are giving me Antichrist vibes, man. What was his name? Caesar Belova or something like that? Like this right here. This is creepy. What is this? It looks like a snake inside there. This isn't your average sword. This sword was definitely conducting. Welcome back to another creepy and scary TikTok reaction video. I'm Jet Ski Chuck, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button to help get the algorithm back right and boost these videos. I just want to say thank you to everyone that already did, and I just appreciate you guys for watching these videos with me. We're going to be diving deep on these crazy theories, these mind-boggling, keep you up all night. It's going to be a good one, man. So let's dive in.
I'm not trying to convince you of something that's totally unbelievable. What I am trying to do is to show you the different things that I'm finding and getting you to use your own mind to process what your eyes are seeing. This is Russia. There's quite a lot of intricately designed, what I would say, Tartarian buildings all across the country. I think they're a lot more open with being aware of their Tartarian history, because these things are right in your faces in ways that you really can't argue. There's a design here, very intricate. Look at all the Antiquitech antennas on top of these buildings. That's the Kremlin, which is obviously a Tartarian building, free energy generating system there. If you just look at it, these things are unexplainable from our understanding of science and architecture today. That's what I want to do, is I'm trying to show you these things so that you can see them and process with your own eyes what they are. Mr. 76 signing out. I'm not trying to convince you of something that's totally unbelievable.
This first building is incredible. Look, it looks like they have someone's face in the front. We need to see where this building is. Where could this be? Now, I believe this is the same building. Check this out, y'all.
This is Russia's Cathedral of the Armed Forces. It's dedicated to the USSR's victory over Germany in World War II, as well as the nation's more recent conflicts. The church is an insight into President Putin's psyche, as well as the current mindset of the Russian state. Inside, there's even a reference to Russia's 2014 invasion and illegal occupation of Crimea. It's a shrine to the religious righteousness of the armed services, the militarism of Putin, and the cult of World War II remembrance.
Tell me this isn't the same building. Tell me these aren't the same buildings. All right, they might not be, but they look very similar. But this building, this is crazy. We need to dive into this, see what we can come up with. You know, I've been saving this topic for a while in my back pocket, and I think it's time we talk about it now. This is probably one of the most interesting buildings I've ever seen when it comes to this Tartaria tech. So I'm excited to dive into this. This is the one I've been having in my back pocket, guys. I'm gonna do my best to dive into it thoroughly. So you better lock in and buckle up. Let's do this. How magnificent. Hold on, they look a little dark over here. What's going on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Are they the 12 disciples? I see the halo around this. This is interesting. Why is this inside this church? This is fascinating. Oh my goodness. How breathtaking is this building, guys? We're diving into this. Let me know your thoughts below. How old possibly is this building? What do the paintings represent? So many questions. Is it still generating ethereal electricity? I don't know, but I would love to see this one day. How fascinating is this? It's like, man, the Tartarian structures in Russia are so prominent. Like they've done their best to make sure these boys stay intact. We're gonna try to go through them.
Basil's cathedral has 8 domes, built to celebrate 8 victories against the Kazan and Astrakhan Khanates. Each dome has a different height and onion-shaped tops, making the cathedral look like flames from a distance. According to Russian cultural heritage records, it was designed by Italian architects Ivan Barma. There is a legend that Tsar Ivan the Terrible was so pleased with the design that he made the main architect Tarma blind to prevent him from creating anything similar elsewhere. St.
That thing gets completely lit up like a Christmas tree at night. Man.
ربي يسوع المسيح يا ابن الله أمسكت المسبح لكي أرفع الدعاء، إذ بقوة الصلاة أرتقي إلى السماء، بتكرارها الكثير سوف أغلب الشرير.
ربي يسوع المسيح يا ابن الله ارحمني.
هذه أولى الصلوات تسمعونها في الحين، أيها الثالوث القدوس خلصنا أجمعين، بتكرارها الكثير سوف أغلب الشرير.
ربي يسوع المسيح يا ابن الله ارحمني.
الصلاة الثانية سأتلوها صادحة، ربي يسوع المسيح يا ابن الله ارحمني.
ربي يسوع المسيح يا ابن الله.
I'm not gonna lie, man. A couple of those pictures are giving me Antichrist vibes, man. What was his name? Caesar Belova or something like that?
ارحمني.
Like this right here, this is creepy. What is this? It's like you can walk inside of it. What could possibly be inside this? The windows, man. This has to be my favorite Tartarian building, man. I haven't seen, you know, besides the ones in Chicago, they got some nice ones in Chicago. But this is new. I feel like nobody's really talking about this. What is the actual name of this place? This right here, I am not gonna lie to you guys. This is giving me Antichrist vibes. Something else could have been painted here, and they put this image there instead. I don't know though. That's just my thoughts looking at it, man. Look at the actual steps. Who goes that hard on steps anymore? I can't think of one place that goes hard on the steps, guys. Look at that. You know, they were on a different level building these. We gotta write this down. Museum Complex, Main Cathedral, Armed Forces of Russia Federation. Alright. That thing is getting charged up there, isn't it?
Guess what? Many old world beautiful Let's look at some other ones. There's a collection here, and it's some castles, some cathedrals, some city centers, just absolutely beautiful buildings have been destroyed by horrible war, and makes me think that the reason they have these wars are to destroy our memories of the beautiful things that humanity used to build, and they don't want us to remember that we had that ability. There's a lot more buildings that still have not been, but of course that's probably why they still want to continue this horrible, as well as all the wars that they've had, like World War II, World War I, where they just one beautiful building after another. So let us think about why they're doing these. It's probably to wipe out our history and wipe out the knowledge of what we could be as mankind from our minds. Let's do everything possible to stop these war machines and bankers' wars, which are anti-humanity.
Let's go see the oldest church in Russia. Let's go see the oldest church in Russia.
Russia releases hidden artifacts and tells US to stop lying to its citizens.
Some of these do look like pictures that were inside the first cathedral we seen.
A layer of asphalt was removed from the road, which then uncovered this free energy structure. Is this ancient Tartarian technology that was used to delegate electricity across the city? Our old world was far more advanced, far more knowledgeable than they would like us to know. A layer of asphalt was removed
with this topic because it is so deep. It can take forever. Okay, so as you can see, this topic is a very hot topic on social media, and I'm gonna get on it because I'm gonna break a few things down that people are not talking about. Now, Russia's real name is Tartaria, and the reason why is because Russia is on the lands of the Tartarian civilization. When they invaded Tartaria, they ended up calling it Russia after the invasion. Now, who is the Tartarians? They are the Titans. Now, as you can see, Russia just opened up their cellar that had books of black people. As you can see, they're behind closed doors worshiping who? Y'all need to understand, this is bigger than what you think. Russia is sitting on tons of knowledge, tons of books that comes from the Tartarian civilization, which is our ancient civilization. Everybody that you see in these books is all black. You don't see a blue-eyed person in sight. See, they know who you are.
That's not your average street. There's a reason they did that pattern. I'm convinced this is the old structure. Where? Somebody got to tell me where this building is. And you gotta think, where could they put these domes? How could they put these domes? It was either giants or airships that lifted those domes and put them on top of these structures. Because you gotta think, they didn't have cranes back in the day. So it was either a giant or an airship that put these domes up on top. This is interesting. Masters of Energy. What do they have inside there? They got some type of relic inside there. They got something venerating in there. Your guys' thoughts below on what possibly this could be. It looks like a snake inside there. Is that a snake inside there? What is going on with this hat? This isn't your average sword. This sword was definitely conducting by the looks of this. This isn't AI generated. For entertainment purposes only, do not come for me. And why are they keep showing these with the skull? What is the significance of that? Music is liquid architecture, frozen music. Okay, something's definitely going on with these skulls, man. What's going on? Wow. And look at these giant cannons. These weren't your normal cannons. They were fighting giants with these cannons, if you ask me. If anybody has any update on this dude, he hasn't posted in a while. I've just been recently getting hip to him, but I would love to hear an update on where this dude is, One Foul Wild, what he's been up to. That's not like someone just to disappear and not say anything.
In October of 2022, I went to Barcelona, Spain, and walked inside the cathedral and saw an ancient advanced technology called a pipe organ. Most people don't understand how advanced the pipe organ really is. This is a waveform synthesizer, and if you notice how the cathedral is built with unique and perfect geometry, this is by design. When the pipe organ emits the sound waves into the cathedral, it acts as a resonance chamber. The vibrations it creates changes the DNA in the human body. Some people have reported having out-of-body experiences, spiritual experiences, as well as spontaneous healings. You may notice the Knights Templar cross symbolism all throughout the cathedral. As the Order of Solomon's Temple, the Knights Templar, or simply the Templars, was a Catholic military order, one of the most wealthy and popular military orders in Western Christianity. They were grandfathered into secret teachings, occult knowledge, and esoteric wisdom. The pipe organ was technology that they wanted to own and control, as its profound effects left people in awe. The builders of the cathedrals were masters of sound and frequency on such a level that people of today in the 21st century have trouble recreating it. This occult wisdom dates back to the days of the Anunnaki.
Can somebody please tell me what in tarnations is going on? So surely by now you understand that history is a lie. And what you think is up is really down. And what you thought was left is really right. And what I mean by that is they've changed names, places, dates, people. They've changed everything. So let me see if I got this straight. You're trying to tell me that this temple that was built for Ramesses II, which was carved into a mountain, you was able to chop up into small pieces and move to a different location? Come on, brother. Just look at this woman's face. I know what she's thinking. She's thinking, they ain't gonna see this one coming. Oh, we've got their ass now. So the mainstream narrative says the reason why they moved the temple is because the sea levels was rising and they didn't want it to get flooded. Really? Look how long that temple was supposed to have been there. It's supposed to be an ancient temple, right? And all of a sudden it's in danger of being flooded. Come on, brother. Just take a look at these guys, looking back at their work. Like, yep, we've done a good job here. We got the noses right and everything. I mean, want to look at this on a deeper level, this don't even look ancient. History is a lie, and I think I know what they're trying to hide. Oh, we've got your ass. We've got your ass now. This is the Scott Monument in Scotland, and it was the second largest monument dedicated to a writer in the world. But that's just the thing. This wasn't originally a monument, and the people who said they built it didn't build it. This is what we call old technology from the old world. This is a natural energy conductor. So, why was bricks chosen to store energy? Bricks' porous structure is good for storing energy since pores provide greater brick area than solid materials have, and therefore the bigger the area, the additional electricity a supercapacitor material will hold. So how do bricks store energy? The pores in bricks are filled with acid vapor that dissolves the iron chemical compound and converts it into a reactive kind of iron that creates a chemical synthesis. Further distinct gas is allowed to flow through the cavities to fill them with a sulfur-based material that reacts with iron. This chemical process leaves the pores coated with an electrically conductive plastic, also known as PEDOT. And like I said, the people who said they built this didn't build it. Because when you look for construction photos, this is all you find. And it's already built. And this is supposed to be a photo of them working on it. But if you know anything about old photography, they work with long exposure, meaning anything that was moving couldn't be picked up. But yet, they was able to capture these guys hard at work. So yeah, when I say history is a lie, I mean his story is a lie.
For entertainment purposes only, none of this has been fact checked. Just for entertainment purposes only.
Oh, you son of a... What have you done? Now I know a lot of you already know that bells was used for healing and meditation. But did you know that between 1939 and 1945, the Nazis went through the whole of Europe and confiscated over 175,000 bells? Oh my diddy, oh yes they did. And it's estimated over 150,000 bells was destroyed from air raids and bombings alone. So the mainstream narrative says the reason why they did this is because they needed more artillery and ammunition, so they melted down the bells and used them as weapons. It's also said that they put the bells into categories A, B, C and D. A being any bell that was made in the last 90 years, and D, any bell that was made before the year 1740. I know many of you won't agree with me, but I believe the main objective of those wars was to get rid of the old world.
So you got this high energy going on during the full moon, and then you ring those bells? Imagine the energy that would be produced at that time. This goes back into your whole free energy. Because if you think of cathedrals, they're one big power plant. I mean, that's what they are. You use certain materials in your cathedral that are combined with magnetic and non-magnetic materials in order to create a certain frequency or resonance. That's what you're doing. And it's interesting because there's still a lot of them in Europe. They didn't destroy all of them. You know, with World War II, they were trying to destroy a lot of that. With World War I, they were trying to destroy a lot of those buildings because they need to tell you a narrative that everybody was on horse and wagon and that whole shabeel. But in reality, when you look at those buildings, it touches your soul when you see the pictures of those buildings. Because that energy that is coming from that building to you gets into your soul because it's very powerful energy. This is not just some, makeshift box building and things like this. These are high energy buildings. And what's interesting is they always let them go, and then they say, we can't upkeep them because they're too expensive. Or miraculously, they burn down with a fire, or there's a hurricane, or a flood, which kind of destroys all of those things.
grandfather told me the Holy Grail was never a cup, it was always a bell, and to look for my ancestors before the 1700s. So at first, I went looking for the first part of that dream and got thwarted. So I went looking for my ancestors instead. Meet the Reverend John 10 Shilling Bell Chastain, my ancestor and French Huguenot. If you didn't know, the Huguenots were chased out of France by the Catholics. So I went looking for bells in France. And what the heck? I was today years old when I learned the French people used to tell their kids that the bells flew to see the Pope on Easter. Which I'm sure is a coincidence considering this guy also flies around with bells on, but I digress. So I decided to go back further, found some old friends that you guys might recognize there.
I'm sorry, but this is Darkness Nine Waters. Just let y'all know it's turned back at any time. Let's go.
And found out that if you ring bells up, they look like cups. I also found out that Pythagoras was interested in bells. But in general, bells were made in the East, in Asia, not in Europe. And so you'll see that bells were associated in medieval art with creatures and monsters, rather than with nobility, or even the church, until you reach this guy. This is King Louis, and he went on crusades and supposedly met the Knights Templar themselves. After that, bells became fashionable with the church and everybody else. So you see here some later medieval paintings and such depicting bells in a more positive way with nobility. This is supposedly King David, so this is religious. Here's some more King David. But then we reach this gap in the art where there's just not a lot of bell art for a long time, until actual photographs of these very large bells start showing. And of course, as the Liberty Bell has been cracked, these are bells that were confiscated apparently during World War II and World War I. Look at the number of them. And I just can't believe they didn't show it more in the art. Just super weird to me. But I'm sure it has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with this. Probably has nothing to do with the people in this photo that they're talking about. Here's an existing bell and it has a really interesting inscription. I'll run that through the Google Translate for you. There's a fun little Easter egg. I'm sure that has nothing to do with this, right? Nah. And probably nothing to do with these tiny castles either, right? But anyway, if you didn't know, now you know that the largest swinging bell is in Kentucky, where my ancestors also lived. Have a great day.
Original poster. Sorry I didn't just stitch your video so they could hear what you said. My stitches always get messed up. For anyone watching this video, make sure you watch the original poster's video. It's a really cool story. The reason there used to be so many bells is because bells clear out negative frequencies. More specifically, and welcome to Schizo TikTok, they rid the space of demons. You're probably aware of the use of bells in Catholic ceremonies, Buddhist traditions, and many other spiritual practices. It's no coincidence that the spiritually inclined use bells during their ceremonies, rituals, and traditions. It's because it resets the space with harmonizing frequencies. Demons are essentially static electricity in the invisible world. When you play the bells, it sends out harmonizing frequencies. Those staticky frequencies cannot exist in the space when those bells are ringing, which is why there were so many gigantic bells. These were spread across the entire civilization, and anytime they felt something was off, like their intuition went off or they saw like a shadow person, they played these bells like crazy and cleared out the space. These demonic entities are predators and parasites in the invisible world, and they try to sneak into our space.
You know, he's spitting, but I just also want to add on the fact that there's something to do with a ram horn too. I believe somewhere it talks about using a ram horn to clear the airways to get your frequency across a little bit better. Nah, I don't know. You guys know about that, you know.
spaces so they can latch onto us and sap our energy. They're also the reason that many people have voices in their head or have urges to do bad things. These demons were relentless. They really wanted to get into this space where all the bells were because all these people were highly spiritually evolved and had a lot of energy. This was like a turkey dinner for them. So they slowly started possessing people one by one who lived on the outskirts, on the outside of this civilization, eventually getting them to band together under these evil gods. And then they went to war with this civilization, and they were instructed by the demons to take all the bells down first. This was the fall of Tartaria, and potentially the fall of Atlantis. They were masters of frequency. Just look at the old papers in Egypt when they talked about being invaded by these barbaric demon-possessed people. They used to use their ankhs in line with the pyramids to shoot frequency energy at the enemies. They called them the Sea People. Here's a couple pop culture references to kind of support this idea. Remember, the subconscious is always trying to speak the truth through art. For one, the breaking of glass at weddings. This is about creating a harmonizing energy to start the marriage.
I keep seeing this. What is that? That's what we're going to dive into next. What is that?
To clear out the space of any negative energy. Remember, many times demons are creations of our own dark thoughts and emotions. In Spider-Man 3, when he's fighting the symbiote that's attached to Venom, he plays all the music on the bars and makes the symbiote go crazy. The symbiote is a metaphor for the demon. The massive amount of other stories where they're singing and playing music to destroy evil. Here's where it gets really interesting. The strengthening of the right hand in Revelations is about strengthening you spiritually. The new song is a new way to play the bells from within, so they can't stop it. All right.
Guys, I'm all discombobulated. I'm trying to put this together for y'all. This is definitely, they're hiding something, man. And it's like we're just picking up the pieces, trying to put together what actually happened. All these old structures, these bells. I just can't put my foot on it yet, man.
We're stealing all of our tech from ancient temples. This is obscene. I'm fully convinced. We're stealing all of our tech from ancient temples. I know what you're thinking. That's just one example. No, it's not. That's a different temple, different ceiling. Okay, turbines are really complex. They got a lot of moving parts. Yeah, and they put those in there too. They're on the pillars. Speaking of pillars, you ever seen these? These are ionic pillars. Ionic pillars. I caught you. I'm onto you. I got you. Okay. Parabolic antenna. It's a fancy word for satellite TV dish. Egypt. Yeah, y'all have been to Karnak, I know. But have you been to the Osirian? Because from the top down, it looks a whole lot like a really basic computer processor. Probably just took a quick drive over to Promenon and upgraded the hardware, huh? Where are you going to plug that in? Ancient city in China? Right there, maybe? Feeling a little bit more Middle Eastern, maybe Persepolis? High frequency oscillator. You mean Angkor Wat? Yeah, cat's out of the bag, buddy. Micro resonator. You mean Tamil Temple? I didn't forget about the circuit diagram. Yeah, you didn't reverse engineer an acoustic masterpiece. Plasma confinement. Well, that's a quick little upgrade if you just go to Dendera. Then you got a cathode ray tube, old tube TV. Quantum computer. I need to see the sky miles, especially from the guys at CERN. Y'all think you're just so smart, huh? I'm onto you.
Shout out Bates Forge, man. We're definitely on to him.
An utter lie.
See the cathedral healing vibrations, the energy ether building techniques, just like the crop circles. Yeah, this was definitely an ancient structure. Look at these windows. Why would they have, if this building was dedicated for World War One? Why that looks Roman. You know, that ain't adding up. Who is that? Who is this brother right here? Who is this brother? My question is, how come people aren't building them like this now? Look at the red bricks. We all know that red bricks can conduct electricity. This looks like something you will see in Europe. This is inside the Harvard Church. Look at the pillars. Come on, y'all. Yeah, this is ancient tech. They got Harvard all ancient out. Find Harvard. You know, this is just Harvard. Who knows? He said Yale too. You know what I'm saying? Man, all these old ancient buildings. You know, it kind of makes you think, you know, about Tartaria. You know, if you look at the old ancient map that I'm going to put right here, if you look at the old ancient map, it looks like Russia. It looks like where Russia used to be. So I wonder what type of structures is down in Russia that resembles these old ancient structures. You know? Your thoughts below. Tell me what you think.
What in the tarnations is going on? Remember them ones there? What in tarnations is going on? Well, I'm gonna tell you what's going on. This new Tartaria archive. Public. Oh my days. Oh my diddy. So now we know what this is about. I come out with a Tartarian thing. He's basically saying that Tartaria was one of the biggest empires in history, but yet it's been removed from history books and it should be taught in schools. You know them ones there? Where Russia's land is, that's where Tartaria was. Like, the biggest part of Tartaria was where Russia is. And guess who's trying to talk about it? Putin. And guess who everybody hates? Putin. What in tarnations is going on?
Shout out to the Bully Slayer. One file, wow. What in tarnations? That makes sense now. What in tarnations? Tartaria? What in tarnations? Let's go. Who used to say that? Who's that? Looney Tunes? Yosemite Sam always shooting? What in tarnation? Used to go crazy back in the day, man. What's in Russia, man? What y'all hiding in Russia, man? What type of ancient structures y'all got in Russia, man? We need to see it.
I'm not trying to convince you of something that's totally unbelievable. What I am trying to do is to show you the different things that I'm finding and getting you to use your own mind to process what your eyes are seeing. This is Russia. There's quite a lot of intricately designed, what I would say, Tartarian buildings all across the country. I think they're a lot more open with being aware of their Tartarian history, because these things are right in your faces in ways that you really can't argue. There's a design here, very intricate. Look at all the Antiquitech antennas on top of these buildings. That's the Kremlin, which is obviously a Tartarian building, free energy generating system there. If you just look at it, these things are unexplainable from our understanding of science and architecture today. That's what I want to do, is I'm trying to show you these things so that you can see them and process with your own eyes what they are. Mr. 76 signing out. I'm not trying.
This first one, though, is bonkers. Look at this. They got a picture of somebody on the front. This looks like straight out of Aladdin. A whole new world where magical things. Yeah.
I can open your eyes.
Yeah, no?
Take you wonders by wonders, over, sideways, and under, on a magic carpet ride. A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go. I'm sailing on a dream. Unbelievable sounds, indescribable feelings, so timeless revealing through an endless diamond sky. A whole new world, 100,000 things to see. I'll chase them anywhere. It's time to share. Let me share this whole new world with you.
Yeah. Is that what you're telling me is in Russia? They hiding all that?
The Tartarian Empire was a major world power. Hidden away from history, they were multicultural. In the 1900s, the empire was divided into Russia and other countries. History has been altered following the events of 1812. Neoclassical architecture was seen all over the world.
Imagine being transported back in time to a lost civilization, one that was once a world power, but has been quietly hidden away. Today, we are uncovering the secrets of the Tartarian Empire's stunning architecture. Dive into the history of this major world power as we explore the breathtaking palace complexes and extraordinary buildings that have been hidden away for centuries, from the intricate frescoes to the towering columns and ornate archways.
Churches had large domes with mercury and antennas for energy, harvested from the atmosphere.
The Tartarian Empire's architectural legacy is a true marvel. As a history buff or architecture enthusiast, you won't want to miss this incredible journey back in time. And the best part, you can bring the magic of the Tartarian Empire.
The Tartarian
I'm trying to see the photos. Man, look at them. They just walking like it's no big deal. They see this every day. Like, oh, whoop-de-doo, doo-de-doo. Oh, look at that airship, boy. That takes him to the outer rim, guaranteed. Beyond the Antarctic wall. That boy is gone. Pew! I'll let y'all later. That thing is massive, man. It is a big, giant world out there. Massive, man. We got to get out there. But yeah, man, it makes you think, man, about these underground railroads in these cities. You know, if the mud flood happened, I'm telling you.
Russia is where you can find some of the most conclusive evidence of the mud flood. It should come as no surprise for those who know when you look at old world maps and you look at things like Russia's coat of arms and the relations with the Tartarian Empire in the last reset, the mud flood. These scenes that we see from Russia, the fully intact log cabins in Moscow, should come as no surprise why we see so much evidence of the last reset here in Russia. The Siberian forest, for example. What a huge difference less than 100 years make. Speaking of Siberia, you ever wondered why most of the world's forests are under 200 years old? It is because, in my opinion anyways, most of them were buried under the mud. In the last reset, less than 200 years ago. But this is just a small sampling of the hundreds of pictures I've collected of the mud flood from Russia. And even more so, the thousands and thousands of pictures I've accumulated over the years from around the world. As I've said before, this is...
Look, they still got the electricity running through the wires. I guarantee you, if they dug some more, they'll probably find 3 or 4 more layers if they kept digging. Who knows how tall these buildings were?
This is realm-wide. In every country, in every continent, in nearly every city. Let me know what city or country you want to see next. and I'll see what I can dig up for you. Question everything, friends.
Even the ground was conducting the free electricity, the free energy. Look at the designs. It was probably bouncing. Can you imagine this thing Yukin the first day it was made? I'm like, all right, it's finally completed. Turn it on. The whole building shaking and the energy coming everywhere. Everything lighting up, bouncing off the ground. Oh my goodness. Where is this? This is in Russia? Oh my goodness. If this was the last place where Tartaria was, they gonna have all these type of ancient buildings. Look at this. There's no way. Is this real? Can we get any confirmation that this is real? Any type. This is ridiculous. How come we aren't taught about this stuff? This is more impressive than the Eiffel Tower, if you ask me. So why do people keep bringing up, the Eiffel Tower? Isn't the Eiffel Tower one of the wonders of the world? This right here, if this is real, this should be up there. Nobody's talking about this. Is this real? What is this? I'm mad. I haven't seen this before. I want to get a wedding photo up there, I want to see this one day. They wouldn't be able to get me to leave, honestly, if I was able to come see this thing. I'm like, how old is this building? 1,000 years old? Y'all know anything about this building, let me know. This is out cold. This is probably one of the tightest buildings I've ever seen in my life. Look at this. And that boy was conducting, getting charged up. They got a bell sitting there just chilling. What? This is a big deal. They were supposed to get rid of all these bells, but they kept one. This is huge. We haven't even dove off into the bells like that lately. But I have a feeling we might need to. The frequency. We're going to talk about how this keeps the reptilians from shape-shifting. We ain't gonna talk about that. But maybe we should. Have you guys ever seen any of those buildings? Anybody? Has anybody ever seen one of these buildings? And can we get confirmation if these boys are real or not? Because those are just shocking. And knowing what we know now, there's no telling how long ago they were made or who made them. We really don't know. I have my hypothesis of how they were possibly assembled, but we still don't know who made it or when.
Tartarian giant foot.
Hold on. Are they trying to say this is a real foot in Russia in 1930? I don't know. This might be a reach on this one.
Tartarian giant foot.
Look at this family. This is Tartarian architecture in Spain. Another one, but this one is in Russia. And another one. But the one that is the most beautiful is this one. Family, let's talk about Gran Tartaria. The only country that still has the architecture of Tartaria. It's the only place on earth that survived the mud flood. Look at this one, family. This one was built before 1554. This one, they started to use it in 1755. All of these buildings, family, are more than 500 years old. Russia is still the closest to the other side, the land beyond the wall. Family, is this the reason why they don't want us to visit Russia?
Oh, man, those buildings are nice. Man, very nice. I can see why someone might want to visit. They were motorized in 1920. Yo, what are these? They got the griffin below them. Is this some type of storage? If I had to guess, I would say these were energy capacitors, capable of storing the etheric energy throughout one another. Or it could have been their old cell phones. First glance, they got the griffin up under it. You know, they got me thinking about Harry Potter now. What's Harry Potter on with all these griffins, you know? They might have knew something. But this is interesting. What are these, coins? Where is this stuff? Guys, jump in the comments below. Tell me what these are. I need this book, man. Where are they getting these books from? I gotta see this. Why is this my first time seeing this?
Pay attention to this magnificent building. It's 500 years old structure. If you think that today's technology is so advanced and our ancestors were only people who lived in a cave, you should know that this structure was built before heavy equipment such as crane, backhoe, bulldozer was even invented. And the most interesting part is that today's equipments and technologies cannot duplicate it unless it'll take decades or even centuries to build such detailed building with our modern tech, whilst the Tartarians built it within years. Pay attention.
That building is incredible. Just seeing it through these videos is like, wow. Look at this chair. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is definitely Russian. You can see them. Normally this is stomping on the griffin, their flag. Wow. Oh, those were the devices. Did you see them? Oh, and that ain't your normal. If you look, that's not your normal fireplace either. Man, there's so many gems in this place. Wow, they right next to it. They wouldn't be able to get me to leave. I'll be taking so many pictures, be up under it. I might lift one of them boys, like a dinner serving, just to see what's up under it, man. Look at the architecture on top. I'm overdue for a vacay. I gotta see some stuff, man. It's a big world out here, man. I gotta see this. You guys know about them chimneys, but look at this vase. Oh my God, this gotta be the best vase I ever seen in my life. You know, and I've seen a lot of nice vases. I watch Kung Fu flicks. Even in Rush Hour, you know, for example, you know, Rush Hour, they was protecting these vases. You know, the Japanese and Chinese, they don't play about they ancestors' vases and stuff. But this is on a whole new level. They got a sculpture on it. You know, that boy probably made out of gold. Man, they went crazy. How much y'all think this boy here is worth, huh? This is nice. Very nice. They got the little present on there. Who is this for? This creepy, strange, and scary TikTok reaction is for entertainment purposes only. This building, this is where we gotta go, y'all. It looks like an actual museum you could visit. You know, we might need to take a field trip. A Dark Waters 9, everybody load up, field trip. We all meet there.
Russia, the old world
Places
kingdom.
all over Russia are littered with the ruins of the old world. Many still adorned with the
Tell me that doesn't look like the Washington building. Look at me in my face and tell me this doesn't look like the Capitol building.
the technology of the old world. Those antennae used to harvest the free energy from the ether above. And just look at the quality of some of these structures. Those red bricks that can stand the test of time. Left to rot in the middle of nowhere. That is why I laugh when people say we have an overpopulation problem and that we have the most population that we've ever had. Think about all those ancient ruins, all those structures just left buried and forgotten. And these are within the last 200 years, or so the story goes. I believe we haven't even came close to hitting the population levels that we had pre-reset. And if you need further proof of just how amazing these structures look, just look at what they were in their prime. Here's some of these structures in Russia.
Yeah, that looks like what was behind the chair and almost some stuff in Harvard, honestly.
Back in the 1800s. It just looks like something out of a fairy tale. Certainly a fairy tale compared to the ugly boxes we live in now. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
Russia, the old world.
Look at those, man. Them boys was conducting. You gotta ask yourself, how could they even get this here in the first place? My theory, airships, y'all. They brought these piece by piece. There was a foundry nearby, and it might have took 2 or 3 airships, or they might have been one going back and forth, or one mega one, who knows? But they was dropping them boys off. They'll have someone drop like a little rope ladder down, he'll calm down, and then they'll have those boys connected to the rope, and then they'll kind of, inch them down. They might have had some mechanical lever, who knows? But I know that if you have a multiple two airships, you can definitely carry one of these, and you dropping these off. And that's how they was building all the ancient structures, if you ask me, was airships. They was meeting somewhere like a foundry, something like a Grand Canyon. And they had a giant machine digging them out, and they was making the materials for the buildings. I can't say giants could do it because they too clumsy. It could be like a giant carrying these things, he might drop it or he might smush one of them bricks. You know, let me be a foreman for one of them giants. I'll be snapping on them. Like, look, man, you done knocked off 3 statues of that last building last week, man. Your clumsy butt better walk a little bit slower and get these blocks stacked. You know what I'm saying? I'll be working them giants. Jacking a beanstalking them. Alright guys, that's all I got for today's video, man. If you made it this far, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button to help boost this algorithm, get me back up there, man. I'm trying to get back in my rhythm, but yeah, we're going that route, Tartaria, all next week, man. And if you ask me, from here on out, we're diving right back into the old Mercury rectifiers, the Tartarian, all that creepy, disturbing stuff they've been lying to us about, disturbing discoveries, all that. But I appreciate you guys, and I'm going to chop this up for you guys and get it out to you this Saturday. Happy Saturday. I love you guys. Have a blessed one. And be expecting more Tartarian bangers coming soon. Thank you.